Hello, hello. Okay, day 2. So, I was laying there taking a nap a few days ago, and kind of between that sleep-wake state, I started thinking and feeling like it's time. I need to share. Okay, I'm going to do this. And I could feel the unction of the Holy Spirit within me. And it was such a surreal excitement because this is something that I have felt for years and years and years. I don't know sometimes why God puts something in you so early, but I do believe I'm beginning to understand, that seed needs to germinate, it needs to be watered, it needs to mature, it needs to grow and grow and grow, depending on what plant. Even maybe it's an oak tree, then you need to grow and 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 grow. And yes, so throughout my life of feeling like there's something that I'm supposed to share or teach or whatever, I've gone through life just continually asking God, what is it? Like, is it now? What's my message? What am I supposed to say? Is it just me that thinks I have something to share? And it would just be this like tension, but not clarity of like what it is or how much I'm supposed to share, or I don't even know. And then I would know to just like, God would just keep being like, okay, just stay in me, just get closer to me, keep going after me, get to know me, get to know you. Layers of healing, layers of deliverance, layers and layers and layers. And it's even funny looking back because, like I said, I have felt this desire, this thing within me since I was about 17 years old in Youth with a Mission. And I even got several words, prophetic words, talking about those kinds of things. And so, as a young, fiery, zealous teenager, I'm like, it must be now. I have everything I need and I have all the knowledge and I know so much, but it's just so funny looking back because what would I have shared? I don't know yet. And that's not to say you can't share as a teen, but you know what I mean? I thought I had all this wisdom and knowledge. Little did I know. Process. I thought I didn't want children because that would get in the way of my calling, and what I wanted to do for God and all the things I wanted to accomplish. And then we get pregnant on the honeymoon. And so it's like, okay, God obviously has a different idea. Okay, after he's 6, then back to my calling and I can travel the world and blah, blah, blah. And then I have another baby. And it's like, okay, after this baby, and then finally, and I have a third baby. And it's like, okay, something else is going on here. And it wasn't even until my third child that I feel like with Joel, I finally began to embrace motherhood and realize this is really important. And this is not a second best thing. This is major. And it was with Joel that I found my joy as a mother. Like, it's not to say I didn't have any joy in raising Daniel and Ian for those first few years, but there was still this like tension of like, am I missing out? Am I doing anything for God? Am I living enough? Like, I also had so much healing to go on inside of me that each child, I feel, brought up another of my issues that needed to be dealt with. And, like, I had to slaughter selfishness when I had my first child. But man, that one takes a while, and God just kept chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. And it was just so cool because I remember one time Joel was asleep and he was like 10 months old in his crib, and I was sitting on the couch and I was thinking, I can't wait till he wakes up. I want to go cuddle him. He's so cute. And it hit me, oh my gosh, I have that joy. Like, I am loving being a mother. And that made me feel so happy because I didn't know you could have that. I didn't know I had this like double-mindedness of like, does this matter? My mind said this is the most important thing. I will not sacrifice family for ministry. I knew all the right things, and God had shown me that he was laying a foundation, but he needed to actually shift my mindset and my heart, and to heal this heart. And it's very surprising and interesting because my mom, to me, she was the ultimate mom. She showed me mothering is so important. She laid down her life for 10 children and just was always so sacrificial and giving and loving, and very much held motherhood in high honor, you know. But I realized for me, I saw that, and I saw that she sort of also lost herself in that process in some ways. So I had decided, as we do in our human nature, I'm gonna do it different. And when we do that, you know, obviously we take it into our own hands to try to control the outcome or control our future. So I didn't know I was still like sort of made a vow, you know, I'm gonna do it different. So I had to go through that process of like letting go of the way I thought it should look and welcoming God's perspective. And on the other hand, I was like, I can never be like my mom. She makes it look easy. Like, so if parenting is hard, then I must be doing something wrong. So I worked through a lot of mom guilt and shame and just like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. But meanwhile, I need to prove that I know what I'm doing. So that process was rough, but also so good, and so many joyful, good things in that. And my little bunny trail there was just talking about how God puts that seed in us so early. And sometimes it's maddening, frustrating, because you feel it so real, so now in a way, but you realize it's not now yet. And you just have to keep waiting, keep trusting, keep going, and believe in that promise. Back to being on my bed in that sleep-wake state. And I'm feeling God is saying, it's now. Even as I say that, it's like, I feel that in my spirit. Could it really be now? Oh my gosh, all these years I've waited, you know, like, are you sure, Lord? But I feel it, and I feel it strong. And it's so interesting when you put something in you, it's so real. And it has been the hope of my calling. You know, it's like I've had the excitement of what it's going to look like someday, and the anticipation. And I've tried so many times to figure out, what is this going to look like? Is it going to be this? Am I going to do that? Is it going to be this? Okay, this is it. Okay, this is it. Okay, this is it. And basically what I found out is every time I try to predict what it's going to look like, it looks completely different. Different timing, different people, different place, different outcome. So I've learned to just let go of that. I can have fun and dream with God in some of those things, but I have to hold it lightly so that I don't try to make it happen. So here I am, knowing it's time. Time for what? What does this look like? What am I doing? But that's it. He just gave me that clarity. It's time to just share. Use your voice, use your mouth, release it. And I had just gone to Catherine Crick in Albany, saw a couple people I love. She was saying, you know, obviously we know this, but she just put it so plainly. The religious spirit hates the prophets. Now, for whatever reason, it just sunk in. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I've had a lot of pushback in the things that I've tried to bring, or when I see things and I share them and I bring suggestions or challenges or whatever, I get often a lot of pushback, and I haven't understood it fully, and I've taken it personal instead of like fully recognizing, religious spirit hates the prophets. Right? The fivefold has not been fully in function for years and years and years. And we've heard that the foundation of the church is to be the apostles and the prophets. What does that look like? What does that mean? So like for years I've been studying that, thinking about it, praying about it, listening to many different teachers, experiencing my own walk with God and my own call on my life. Suddenly I realized, okay, one thing I've recognized is that the call on my life as a prophet has looked like stuff that he's doing in the body, he does it in me, in my life. So my life has been an unfolding of a story of the body of Christ. I'm not saying every single factor, but certain things have lined up with exactly what he's doing in the body. And some people have criticized me and said like, oh, you're just thinking it's about the body, but it's just about you. Like, you don't need to make it all big and corporate and whatever. Like, this is probably just about you. And so just focus on you and you get better, and, don't try to make it so big, And so I would be like, okay, maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe I just thought that. So I've had to like work through that and realize, wait, no. I think God is showing me what happens in me sometimes is something he's doing in the body. So all that to say, right now, the religious spirit hates the prophets and has tried to silence the prophets, has tried to silence the voice of God accidentally. I'm not saying all churches either, but we are afraid, even as humans, like of messes or not being able to control the move of God. It's like, it's unknown, it's scary, it's nerve-wracking. And we think we know so much too. I think that can be an issue. But it's time. Literally, it's time. The prophets are getting their voices back. They're beginning to step out. And in the church, they're going to start being welcomed in, like having a place. I don't even know what that looks like as far as like physical churches working with prophets, etc. But it could even look totally different, like the prophets being given a voice can be having to do with the church, but it might be outside of the church building. So we don't know exactly, because God said, I'm doing a new thing. I'm doing a new thing. Stop trying to look in the past to figure out what I'm doing, because I'm doing a new thing. And I think I'll stop there, and I will continue just sharing along this journey that I've been going through over the since I was 17 years old. And I'm 41 now. Let it unfold, Lord. And whoever is watching this, I want you to receive that, the freedom to step into what you're called to do, the freedom to be where you're at and just seek the Lord. What are you showing me right now? What does this have to do with me? Because even though I've talked about the prophets, mentioned the prophets, this is not just for the prophets. Because when the prophet does something or does an act of some sort, like stepping out, doing this 21-day challenge, it opens the door for you, which is so cool. So receive that freedom today.